Hey, you guys. So I have some more nuggets to share based on the message of it's time to step away. And then I even got a new message for you. So even thinking about my message that I did yesterday on it's time to step away and how I talked about that it may be time to step away from a relationship, from a habit, from a lifestyle. It may also be time to step away from a job, where it may be time for you now to switch gears, where your current job is not pushing you towards your purpose. And I just encourage you guys to just ask God, God, am I where I'm supposed to be? God, am I doing what you would have for me to do? And see what he says. But then even as I began to think about the concept of stepping away, the song that came into my mind was, every time I try to leave, something keeps pulling me back, me back. That was an old song back in the day. But what it made me begin to think about is a stronghold. And also, well, what is keeping me back? What is pulling me back? Every time I try to leave this thing that I'm called to step away from, what is pulling me back? Is it fear? Remember, God hasn't given us the spirit of fear. Step out on faith. Step away. Don't stay bound to this just because of some fear. Faith over fear. Is it because you're just listening to other people saying you don't have to leave, you shouldn't leave? Every time I try to leave, something keeps pulling me back. What's pulling you back? The enemy? Maybe a stronghold. He's trying to have a hold on you. But today is the day that we sever the ties. Today is the day that we cut the cord. Today is the day that we declare, enemy, you no longer have a hold on me. And as I said before, we have to ask God to help us break any and every chain that's trying to hold us back. So then I just looked online, even talking about like a stronghold, and a wonderful article had popped up. And in the article, she had mentioned how we ultimately don't want to give the enemy a foothold because the foothold may turn into a stronghold. And it says in Ephesians chapter 4, it says, do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold. And so then I said, okay, I'm not kind of familiar, a little bit of the foothold term, but let me look that up. And they got some nuggets, y'all. I just got to go ahead and share. So it says like the phrase, do not give the devil a foothold, pretty much means that we should not make it easier for the devil to gain ground in our lives. In other words, we don't need to leave the door cracked. We need to shut the door, lock it, and put something under the door handle so it don't even turn. Like, don't try me type of situation. You're not coming into my heart. So we don't need to give the devil, in other words, like we don't need to give the devil an inch, because if we give him an inch, he may try to take a foot. He may try to take a mile. So we have to resist the enemy. That in other words, some of these things that we may have found ourselves in is now really trying to have a hold on us. But we got to let it go. We have to let our trust trump the worry. And even online, it has says that, yes, we have the power to resist the devil. But we got to remember that the devil can only come as close as we allow him. So in other words, we have to take those thoughts captive. We can't let those thoughts enter into our hearts. We got to say, uh-oh, I just got a little stress. Nope, not dealing with it. Oh, I just got a little worry. I'm not going to begin to let this worry turn me into overthinking. Not going to happen. But then another piece too is that it said, like holding on to anger, grudges. Like those things, you guys, can begin to fester. Like it all starts with a little spark. And then next thing you know, the whole house is on fire. That's why we can't let the enemy get a foothold, because we don't want the foothold to turn into a stronghold. And now when we're trying to leave, something keeps pulling me back. But right now we just bind up the enemy's attack. We ask God, Lord, to break every chain, to help us be free. And that's why we need to know his truth. See, it talks about how we need to be sober and vigilant, and we should resist temptation. And it goes right back to the Lord's Prayer. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So you guys, you may find yourself wanting to leave something, wanting to step away. But then you got to analyze, like, why am I not able to? Is it because I'm afraid? Wondering what everybody is going to say? We need to put that in check. Who are we trying to please at the end of the day? Because I want God to say, well done to me. I can't worry about what man is going to say. What's trying to pull us back? Is it doubt? Is it lack of trust? Is it FOMO? Fear of missing out? If I step away from this, I'm going to miss out what everybody's doing there. Y'all, the wages of sin is what? Death. I don't want to stay bound to sin. God wants us to live a life and live it more abundantly. Let's let it go. Let's let it go. Let's walk towards God's promise.